Shalom and welcome to Mitzvah Torah. This year is entitled Standing for the Siren. Yom HaShoah, Yom Zikaron, a violation of Chok Akum, Chukotehem lo telecho. So it's a Gemara in several places, in Gemara in Sanhedrin, Avamitot Beit, in Gemara in Avodah Zarah, Better Chukotehem lo telecho, not following the ways of the Gentiles. There's actually different ways to learn the sugya. The Marik learns, and he's quoted by many opinions, and the Menchatchina quotes him, on the Rambam he's quoted, the Yosef quotes him, all over he's quoted in this topic where he says something fascinating, that when is a violation of Chok Akum, copying the Gentiles, where they're doing something as very specific practice, idolaters are bordering on it, and you copy them, or if you just have over shtus, there's no reason, there's no rational reason, and you're just copying them. Why are you doing that? It doesn't make any sense. Now the Ramah, the Shulchan Aruch adds on to the Marik, and because it's hevel and shtus, it's silly, maybe there really is something idolatrous behind it. That's the Ramah's addition to Marik. But the Bala needs to do something silly and you're copying. And therefore, what happens if it's not silly? What happens if they have a practice that all doctors wear white coats? So anytime there's an emergency, he has a white coat, let's go to him for help. That's rational. I'm copying them, but it's very rational. So once you have that idea that when there's a rational reason behind what they're doing, then you could copy it, then that really opens a lot of things. So we could say, moment of silence, a time to unite the whole nation. That's rational, to remember all the fallen, the heroes, the Chayalim, who lived and died for our sake. Okay, we unify the whole nation together. That's a rational thing. Someone may like the rationale behind it, but there's certainly not just, I'm doing it just to be like the Goyim. I like the idea. So the only problem is the Gra. The Gra goes ahead and says, wait a second. When the Gemaras and Avodah Zarah and Sanhedrin talk about practices that are not Chok Akum, it says, because we have a pasuk in the Torah that we used to do this. We have a pasuk that says that they used to go ahead and get rid of the clothing or certain objects that belonged to the king, and it wasn't Bal Tashchis. And why did they burn it? There's a pasuk in the Tanakh about it. See, only when there's a source from the Torah do we say that we're copying the Torah, we're not copying the Goyim, but otherwise it's Chok Akum. So the Gra is very stringent. So you might be smart to say that you can't do the moment of silence according to the Gra, of course we're copying the Goyim. But Rav Moshe Feinstein says that when you're wearing clothing, talk about in the 1940s, 50s, people coming up from Poland and wearing the New York clothing, and giving up their Polish clothing, the long frock and stuff like that. He said there's no Isser. It's not Chok Akum. Why? Certainly according to Marik, because it's nice clothing. A double breasted suit, it's a nice looking suit, and that's what you're wearing it. It's a rational reason. It looks good. He said, but even the Gra would say it's fine, because this clothing isn't Goyish clothing and we're borrowing it from them. It was manufactured in the 20s, 30s, 40s for the citizens of New York and the tri-state area, wherever you were living. It was for the citizens, and citizens are Jews and Gentiles alike. And therefore, this is not problematic even according to the Gra. So the Bnei Banim, Rav Henkin, in the Bnei Banim Chelek Bet and in the Truman, he takes this to the Siren and says even according to the Gra, it would be all right. And certainly according to all the other opinions, it would not be problematic. And then Rav Ariel in his Shuros in the first volume, he also says, it could be that maybe we would have come up with this. You say, why would a Jew come up with this? We have Mishnayos, we have Kaddish, we have Yizkor. We don't do this. He says, yes, we're trying to get the whole nation involved here. Getting the whole nation involved, we're not going to go and tell the whole nation to do Yizkor. It's not going to work. And we want to unify the nation from a moment, a year. So therefore, it's a very good idea to stand up, show kavod. That's in our history, to show kavod by standing, and having the moment of silence. It's an idea for everyone to think. He says it might be better to do Yizkor and say something else during that time, but he accepts this as a legitimate possibility, not violation of Chok Akum. So therefore, those who permit it, Rav Moshe doesn't discuss moment of silence, but his principles may allow such a thing. It's a framework for Rav Henkin to go and apply from there to the moment of silence, and then Rav Ariel says it could be we've become this with this idea anyway. And also, this whole idea is not necessarily a Goyish idea, it's a remembering the citizens of a country. And just like Rav Moshe had that by clothing, we can apply it to the commemoration and the moment of silence. Shalom.